AntonBlast made me sick. And I was looking forward to enjoying this game quite a bit. Sadly, I played this new game by independent video game developer SummitSphere. And I just couldn't handle it. A fast, panning camera, extreme shaky cam, and Porygon episode level flashing trails behind the player character. You can adjust some settings, but I didn't notice much difference. Before I rattle on more, I was disappointed by all of this because I was looking forward to the game. I like the Wario Land games, so I should enjoy AntonBlast. And a few years back, I even played the demo version and didn't experience any nausea or headaches. And I never experienced any of this. None of these issues are normal to me when playing games, no matter how frantic they are. Which is why I was so baffled when it happened with this simple 2D platformer. I don't want to say that games should adjust themselves to every possible audience member, because I don't think that's possible. But right now I just can't play AntonBlast. I can't play this game. And that saddens me a bit. But just because I never experienced nausea or headaches when playing games, I was surprised. Well, that's not completely true. I did experience some nausea and headaches when playing Ace Combat 7 in VR. But that's a VR game, not a 2D platformer. And what saddens me about AntonBlast is that they tried to give players options to address the accessibility issues. But I can't change my physiological response to Anton's movements. And I can remember hearing similar stories about Hotline Miami and how people got nauseous and got headaches by the swaying camera included in that game. Because you see, there were standard camera movements that happened constantly, independent of the player character, and you couldn't adjust them, making the game inaccessible to people who had these issues. Luckily, I didn't get sick at all while playing Hotline Miami. But now finally, a game has made me sick. Literally.
Find out what he loves the most and take it from him. He will come running, and I will siphon his delightfully rosy tone, leaving me the reddest being on and slash in the planet.
I can get behind the cries for accessibility and inclusion now. I understand it more. And the praise games receive if they include options for players with disabilities, even if I've never been diagnosed with anything officially other than idiocy. I feel disabled when playing this game, when playing AntonBlast. But I don't have the ability to try it out at all now. Not really. Because to do so would mean having to struggle with having my brain feel violated and my stomach feel shaken like a Wii remote. And I would like to plead with the developers of AntonBlast to add options to improve my personal experience. But then I see how many people are fine with playing it. And I think to myself, is it worth their limited development time to try and adjust the game to someone who might play it once they've implemented these changes? Well, probably not, right? Who am I to demand these changes for my own personal experience if nobody else has these problems? And I looked at some of the reviews and checked if anyone else was experiencing anything similar. And there was one here talking about the visual clarity and screen size, but not about their nauseating experience. And I implore you to look at the helpful reply the poster received, pointing out the ability to switch to full screen and the fact that the developers will work on bug fixes. And this one is just a little confused or had too many brewskis. And this person tells us the developer is not very willing to listen to criticism, at least according to them. And I honestly don't know if that's true at all. Just as someone who has a negative experience, I instinctively get the urge to blame the developers for not considering my personal experience here. Because I can't imagine anyone being able to play this game and to be okay with how it looks. So I automatically fantasize about them having no naysayers in their developers' circles. And that's obviously ludicrous. Because there are so many people that are enjoying this game that are fine with the visual experience on offer. And I scrolled through the developer's Discord and I wasn't able to find anything regarding accessibility or photosensitivity or anything like that. The Discord, funnily enough, did have epilepsy warnings for certain clips and videos posted by users on it. And this is funny to me because of my experience, I couldn't play the game as is, and I feel like if you have epilepsy or photosensitivity issues, this game is not accessible to you at all. So, no luck finding anyone with similar issues to me, either on their Discord or in any of the reviews. On the topic of nauseating and headache-inducing video game experiences, motion blur is often an issue in 3D games for me, as it works disorienting, displacing the camera and the player character. Luckily, in most modern games, and definitely in PC games, you can turn it off completely. And my buddy told me about the thermal visor in Metroid Prime Remastered, the 2023 remaster of the 2002 GameCube game. In the remaster, the visor is blurred, which makes him nauseous. This was changed from the original, where the clarity was not adjusted when putting on the visor. And the two reasons I've seen for the implementation of this blurring effect is it's more realistic because thermal visors in real life are blurrier than something else, and because the game's resolution is lowered when the visor is put on because of the effects it has on the performance of the game, they had to put a blurring effect in place. I don't personally believe in the realism argument, seeing as Metroid Prime is a sci-fi game, so I'll go with the resolution one. A prevalent reason for including blur effects is to hide performance and graphical issues. Resolutions can be lowered or objects can load in while the camera is moving, blur obscuring. This allows developers to make the frame rate more consistent and to avoid stutter. Since stutter is also something that can give people, or at least give me, nausea and headaches, the developers are stuck in a double bind. Either include blur effects to obfuscate graphical band-aids that improve performance, or suffer the risk of stutter and frame drops. Again, both make me feel slightly ill, so neither would be a perfect solution for me. Would always opt for an all-around lower resolution, so there are no jarring transitions from the one resolution to the other, and the performance stays consistent. The problem being, to sell a game is to sell its visual spectacle and the associated set of numbers. Either be it 4K or 1080p or whatever it was back in the day, the visual experience is how you sell it. And how does AntonBlast fare in that regard? Well, I think because it uses a very zoomed in camera, akin to the Game Boy Advance Wario Land 4, it takes inspiration from, while also including high-speed platforming. The camera shifts from left to right, right to left, at such a pace that it simulates seasickness for me. And the high-resolution, detailed sprites are very impressive and very appealing, so I completely understand why the camera is so zoomed in. Yet it saddens me that I can't enjoy this game as is because of the camera and because of the physiological response I get. And I don't see a quick and easy fix for this because the camera seems to be so ingrained in the core of this game. You can't just make the game more zoomed out. I don't see that possible. Well, I can see now that there is no easy fix for accessibility options because everyone is kind of different in that regard. And just because of this one personal experience for me, I understand more now why it's such a deal for people, why it's such a big deal. And I hope that somehow we can gain more accessibility options and make these experiences, these games, more playable for more people, while at the same time I understand that you can't just remove aspects from a medium like with gaming, that it's gonna be a fast-paced game. There's gonna be more movements and more shaky cam and a lot of that stuff that will make it harder for developers to adjust to that experience for everyone. So there probably will never be a game that's completely accessible to every single person. But I would this is just my own personal experience and my understanding of why this sort of accessibility issue is a thing and is something that we have to deal with. And I think it's good to talk about it at least and to face it. And maybe they can say, yeah, we can't fix all of these issues for you because you are the only person who experiences AntonBlast like this. So it's not worth it for us to try to solve this issue. But we appreciate your input. Or yeah, maybe they don't appreciate it. But it's good, I think, if it would be interesting at least if they would address it. But it's just me talking. So we'll see about it. Anyway, best of luck to AntonBlast. Best of luck to Summit Sphere. And to any developers out there trying to make the best they can. Because I think that's all they're trying to do here. This is just not... This is nothing malicious about them. It just felt... I felt personally attacked by the game because of my physiological reaction to it. So it's not the game's fault. It's just the way things work. Well, good night and goodbye.